Welcome to our podcast. This is Friends on Fire.
I'm Mike. I'm a lifelong devotee of financial independence. I even wrote a book about it.
And I'm Maggie, a newer convert, but just as passionate, especially on the intersection of minimalism and financial independence.
We're one and the same.
We are two like-minded friends who believe that talking about money with your friends and family opens the door to financial well-being.
The Friends on Fire podcast is about dispelling myths, building financial acumen, and sharing your financial independence journey with the people you care about.
This is Friends on Fire. Hey, Maggie.
Hey, Mike.
How's it going?
Oh, living the dream. How's it going with you?
Pretty good. I'm excited for this episode because you told me you were not going to put show notes online for me to prep. And I just have to respond.
Yeah, I want your off-the-cuff answers. Yeah, real time. I don't want you to give too much thought to this stuff.
Oh, well, that's good. I don't give a lot of thought to anything.
That's so not true. I feel like you give a lot of thought to a lot of things. So today, we are going to talk about something that is in the air. Do you know what it is?
COVID?
No, not COVID. That's not funny.
Oh, sorry. Too soon?
Too soon. COVID could be in the air for all I know. I got a lot of... okay, let's keep moving. No, the holidays.
Oh, holiday spirit. Yeah,
the holiday spirit.
Okay, sure.
It may not be in the air, but it's definitely in the stores. You walk into stores and I'm like, we already got Christmas stuff out everywhere. So I am excited to talk about the holidays. I know we had a lot of people loved our wants versus needs and how to buy less stuff discussion. And in general, all of our minimalism, decluttering topics have always been very popular with our listeners. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited to talk about the holidays because this is a time of year when people can get a little crazy, or not crazy, but off budget and off script. And it's you might have done well for some period of time, but this is when things go off the rails with your budget or your intentions. And, you just start getting, a little wild and loose with spending. And there's a lot of reasons why. There's so many things out there and traditions and expectations and everything else. And so I want to talk through that today. And I want to go through the big categories of spending that people tend to hit around the holidays. And I'm not talking about, this could be Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Thanksgiving, whatever you might celebrate. And it's over the next couple months. There's, again, no matter what you celebrate, there's just all of these different types of events and social gatherings. There's work holiday parties, which there won't be this year in person for sure. But there's just all of these different events and expectations and things that you have to kind of, deal with and go to. And I want to talk about how to kind of rein that in. And Mike, one of the reasons I thought this would be fun to do is a off the cuff episode for you is that I've not known you through too many Christmases. And so I don't really know what your habits and beliefs are and what you do, how you guys spend the holidays, right? I really don't know, honestly. So I'm excited to kind of hear more about what your family does. All I know is last year I gave you a mason jar full of vegan cashew cheese for Christmas because you were excited to get it. I was excited to give it. And it was great. I love friends like that,
And I gave you some custom Friends on Fire gear that
Swag.
Britta had cut out on her.
Yeah, you gave me a nice Friends on
machine.
Fire shirt and a mug.
Mm-hmm.
I need to I haven't used my mug in a while. I need to bust it out. Yeah, it was a great Christmas. Cashew cheese and Friends on Fire gear. That's a lovely Christmas for all. So let's go through some categories here, okay? I'm going to kind of just speed round through a bunch of categories and types of spending that I think pull and suck people in during the holidays. And I want your thoughts, Mike. I want to hear your thoughts first, and then I'll jump in with my thoughts.
All right. And I think I should probably just apologize in advance for offending people because I'm probably not going to agree with the way a lot of people think about the holidays. And I know this is a sensitive topic because it's important for people.
I think it is important for people. And on that note, Mike, one tip that I think is really important to rein in and control some of your spendings during the holiday is to remember what the holidays are all about, right? So to most people, if you really ask them what they love about the holidays, ask yourself perhaps, it would be spending time with family and friends. Things slow down a little bit. Your work might slow down a little bit. You have more time to spend. Some of the food is amazing. There's a lot of great cooking and just, all of these different things. It's not, unless you're talking like a 5-year-old, it's not like, I'm going to get a bunch of presents and, I got to go buy all this stuff and I've got to go, all these things. And so, yes, I'm sure there are people that get a lot of joy out of buying gifts for others. So do I when it's something that they actually need. I think it's just important to remember like what to you is important about the holidays. Like Mike, for example, what to you is important about the holidays?
Oh, this is going to be a fun episode, Maggie. What's important to me? Do you know I think it's Danish term, hygge?
Yeah.
I love that. I read a book about it. That is
like snuggling in and like.
Yeah, it's like the lighting and the ambiance. And that is what I love about kind of like Christmas decorations and all that sort of stuff. So that's really important for me. By
the way, it's hygge.
Yeah,
hygge?
Is that what I said?
I was going to say hygge. Based on
it's
how
definitely
it's
not
spelled.
hygge. It's hygge.
But it's spelled Hygge. But you're right.
Right.
I think the pronunciation is hygge. You're right.
Yeah.
Danish or Norwegian word for a mood of coziness and comfortable conviviality. Conviviality. Comfortable conviviality with feelings of wellness and contentment. Is conviviality the word you were thinking of, Mike?
No.
I'm just kidding.
What was your question?
What do you love about the holidays? Like, what's important to you?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Is
so
it the conviviality?
Yeah. The hygge, I do like. We usually travel and see family, or family comes to us, which is great fun. And it's a little
family.
Family. And then it's a little bit slower time at work. But what does happen at work is there are a lot of gatherings. There's a lot of parties. There's a lot of time where you can just be social with people and not have it involve work. So I think those are my 3 favorite things.
Yeah. So it's like spending time with friends and family. Things slow down a little.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like we enjoy the same things about the holidays. Aside from slowing down, like most people take some extended time off work during the holidays often also. And even if you're not taking it, you usually have, additional holidays more than normal to allow you to spend more time with friends and family. So, I think that's important to remember because a lot of people do often think, Mike, that they have to do all these things that we'll talk about that involve spending money because that's what makes the holidays special. And again, I think like when you were kind of joking, you're like, I might offend some people by like how little you do or how little you spend money on because you still do the same activities. You just don't spend a ton of money on them. And we're in a similar boat. And like many things, you're probably even better than I am in terms of like you're spending even less than I am. But like, I think our family spends
I'm
on
definitely
average,
spending
way
less than you, Maggie.
Yes. My family spends way less than average and you spend way less than we do, I'm sure. So I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to get you cashew cheese this year, Mike. I've given you the recipe now and that's the best gift I could give you.
I've actually kind of perfected now that I have the Vitamix and I've perfected
you've changed the recipe?
I've perfected it, Maggie.
Perfected it? What?
Right. I mean, I took what you did and just made it better. So you can get me something different.
Perhaps for Christmas, you could give me that recipe then. So
I'll give it to you in the same mason jar.
Okay, so let's run through some categories. These are the things that I see people spend a lot of time and money and energy on. And I just want to get your thoughts on them. And again, not trying to like bash stuff. We're just trying to challenge your thinking and perhaps suggest that there could be some alternatives. So please note that it comes from there. Ready, Mike? Expensive family photo shoots with photographers and associated expensive printing of cards and shipping them to hundreds of people you know.
I think it is a big waste of money and I think I'm already going to offend people on it. So having like a super nice family photo, one, I think you could probably take some pretty nice photos yourself. Doing it once every 5 years or something like
totally
that might be something definitely worthwhile. Doing it every single year where like you have your kids with Santa and that's one photo shoot and then you have your family and that's another photo shoot and then you're printing these things.
I haven't even gotten to Santa photos, man. That's a future category.
Yeah. It's just a lot of money for something which isn't that much better than just going out to a park and taking a nice photo with your family, which probably has better memories associated with it because you're doing a certain activity.
Yes. So my challenge here to folks is reconsider the fancy photographer, the fancy car, you know, making your family dress up in like matching outfits, and like your kids hate you by the end of it because you're just like yelling at them to like smile, look happy. And then you're like doing, you know, it costs hundreds of dollars to pay a photographer to do that. Then you've got to pay the different online companies to print the cards, and then you're shipping them, stamps, all that jazz. It's expensive. And yes, I do think it is very enjoyable to receive a card from people. I will say, just an alternative, a few years ago, out of a lack of time and a little bit money, we decided as a family to start doing a digital version of that. And so we would take photos that we had taken ourselves on, you know, various outings, and like kind of made our own little digital collage. And it looked just like one of those cards that came in the mail. I did it in PowerPoint, and we would send that out as an image. And we would be able to send it to way more people, because there's a ton of people I don't have mailing addresses for, but I do have emails for. And I will tell you, it's free. So that's a great approach. There's a two-way dialogue over email that's nice, of like, I would get tons of replies back from people. So I would BCC and literally send it to like hundreds of people. And I'd get notes back from people that were actually like commenting on things, you know, and then it'd be like, it was a nice way to kind of catch up with some people that I didn't often get a chance to talk to throughout the year. And that doesn't happen when you send a paper card usually. It comes, it, you know, might get set on their mantle or counter or something for, you know, a month, and they get thrown away. Better for the environment. It's cheaper. So I'm a big fan of this shift to like doing a digital card, because it's still something, and it still allows you to, you know, kind of connect with friends and family and give them an update on, you know, what your kids look like and what you're up to.
I was hoping when I got your digital card last year that there was a digital gift card inside, and there wasn't. So
there's
the
not
whole
a digital gift
experience
card.
was just a kind of a disappointment.
But on that note, because I'll talk about giving back later, but when we did that, we actually put in our digital card, in lieu of sending you a paper card, we have made a donation in your honor, which we did do. So we took the money that we would have spent. We took a few $100s that we would have spent on that whole process.
I forgot this.
And we made a donation to charity for charity.
All right, you
water.
win, Maggie. Fine. All right, let's move on to the second item.
Okay, second item. Wrapping paper and related fancy accoutrements.
Wrapping paper you can find at the Dollar Tree.
Yep.
All kinds. Or you get it after the season's over for super cheap. Also, I don't know how this happens to me, because I never like recognize it at the time, but I get so much of this through work. Like there's just like stuff lying around, and there's like white elephant bags and
rolls of wrapping paper lying around at work.
Somehow I come back with them.
I'm just kidding.
They have those like,
there's
like
definitely
squares
like gift bags.
So there's gift bags. There's like squares of wrapping paper that I take. So I have a whole box of stuff, of bags and, you know, tissue paper and wrapping paper. Oh, an entire box. It's sitting up there. You can see it. I don't think I've spent.
It's so funny. It's right there.
I don't think I could have spent more than $5 on anything in there, and it's packed full. It's just like, you will come across the stuff, so do not spend a lot of money on it.
I agree with you here. Every time I receive a gift that I can tell is in like a brand new like bag from Target with like the price tag on the bottom, like gift bag where it was like $4.99. I'm like, did you just spend $5 at Target to buy me this bag? Like now I'm like, well, thanks. This is going in my recycled bag of bags for future gifts. But A, if you really need something, go to somewhere like the Dollar Tree, because you can get it for $1. B, recycle that stuff, right? People give you things. I save all those bags. Like nobody is judging if you hand them. I mean, if a bag's like torn up, I'm not going to reuse it, but nobody's judging a bag that doesn't look, you know, 100% pristine, brand new. Everybody reuses bags. And just get creative also. Like we will take the inside of like Trader Joe's bags, like the craft paper, right? And we'll do that inside out and wrap presents in it, and really still do some like nice, you know, bows and decor, and, you know, let my kids draw. They can draw directly on it and like write who it's to. So you can get very like creative with your wrapping paper, and you do not need to be spending a bunch of money. Like make your own tags and, you know, get creative with it. And that's a category where you definitely do not need to be spending a ton of money. Related to that, let's talk gifts. In general, it's a big category, and we'll go to some smaller categories in a little while. But what are your thoughts on gifts?
I don't buy gifts for anybody, really. You were the exception last year because we had just started the podcast.
Yeah, we were like launching a podcast,
and I really wanted to give you that stuff.
That was like a moment of a decade.
Yeah, you won't get anything this year. So I don't really buy gifts for friends. I do something for my team at work. but I actually like take them out for an activity. I've never like bought my team, a gift per se. And then I do some gifts for my immediate family, like, so my wife and kids. But my extended family, like my side of the family, we're not big gift givers anyway. So really I could like all the physical gifts I buy for everybody, I could hold in my arms. So it's not a lot.
Yeah. No, I like it. I actually forgot about gifts for my team at work because you're right. I also buy gifts. I usually do like an Amazon gift card for my direct reports at work. And I will say my husband and I are in the same boat here. We often will spend more on those than like all other gifts we buy for like our kids and anyone else combined, because we just spend so little on everyone else that, that ends up being like one of our biggest line items during Christmas.
So going back to gifts for your team, let me give you an alternate idea.
Okay.
I started a tradition back when I was at AT&T because my whole team was like really into Star Wars. And we did have some women on the team and they were also, I'm not sure into Star Wars, but told me they were into it because they did not want to hurt my feelings. So anyway, we went to go every year a new Star Wars movie comes out. So we would go see Star Wars on opening day and then I'd take them out for a really nice lunch and it would be like a half day. So it's away from the office. We get to do kind of a memorable activity that we continue to talk about for years after. And then we go out for a nice meal and continue just to socialize. And I don't know, they seem to like it. Maybe some of them are listening and tell me like, you know what, I'd rather just get a gift card.
Just give me the gift card, Mike.
But
no, I like it. Yeah, we probably in the end spent similar amounts just based on, what you're saying there. But no, I like it. I love the idea of experiences. I'm not sure that's going to work this year with COVID.
It's definitely not going to work.
But
I'm trying to think of what I can do.
You can get creative. There's other things you could do. You could like send everybody an Uber Eats meal to their house. Yeah. So you guys could all eat together virtually.
That's a good idea.
The point is gifts I'm in the same category as you, Mike. I have slowly worked on my family over the years. I mean, my close family, like my, parents and my brother, and like we agreed many, many years ago to like not give each other gifts. So every now and then there'll be a random gift where like my brother sees something that he like is more sort of just, like personal of like, oh, she would love this. But we really just don't exchange gifts for like any holidays. We're all grown-ups. We can buy what we want. Like we don't need more stuff. And so we've gotten pretty good about that. But I think, some just general tips for like curbing the gifts is like, be honest with your family members. So I know it can be very hard. I've experienced this with mother-in-laws. It can be very hard to convince certain people in your family to not buy you gifts or to not buy your kids gifts. Sometimes no matter how many times I say we don't want or need anything and we would rather you save your money, something still shows up. And so, but we really have been trying to be honest and be like, look, here's what we would rather have. Like if you insist upon getting us something, we would love like, take us out to dinner one night, like get us a gift certificate to one of our favorite restaurants. And I found that works because for the people who are insistent that like they need to give you something, like my lovely husband's mother, she's really good about knowing we don't want more physical stuff, but she's like, well, I want to buy you guys dinner one night. I'm like, that's great. That's so sweet. Thank you so much. And if she's in town, it'll be with her. And then the same thing for the kids. So we have convinced all of our grandparents to give the kids experiences. So they will, like last year, Greg's dad paid for us all to go to Snow Mountain, which is like a big tubing on like fake snow in Atlanta thing. The kids had so much fun. We sent them pictures. The kids still talk about it and they're like, and Grandpa Bill sent us there. And so that's an experience that is way better than like some toy that they would forget that you got them, 6 months later. And so really trying to, curb and give your family feedback of like what's important to you and why you don't want more physical objects and why your kids don't need more stuff or whatever it is. And then that you might want experiences or whatever you'd prefer, right? If there's a trip you're saving up for, it could be putting money in college funds. That's another thing I've been successful at doing is saying like, hey, put money into your college funds. And I've done that for my own nephews before also.
I have one.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you just stop buying people gifts, over time, they will start to realize that it's not worth getting you something in return. So you will stop receiving gifts. That's
an interesting approach. I like to like address it head on and be like, look, I don't want either one of us. Like even with like me and my best friends, I mean, years ago, like we would sometimes when we were together over the holidays, we would say like, hey, we're going to do a gift exchange. That's always a great one because then it's one gift you're talking about, not, 8 gifts. Do a gift exchange. get creative with like homemade personal gifts if there are some things that you want to, like my homemade vegan cashew cheese sauce is an example. You're the only one who wanted that, so I didn't make that for everybody else at work. But there's all sorts of things you can do to get creative and to not have to spend a lot of money on other people, and to let them know that you don't expect them to spend a lot of money on you, or any money. And I think that's an important thing, Mike, of like, I know you were kind of half joking when you said like, just stop getting them gifts and then they'll stop getting you gifts.
Yeah. I was joking.
You should be joking, because that's an odd approach. But like, we talk about the importance of, and the whole spirit of Friends on Fire is talking to your friends and family about money. Talk to them about gifts. Like, it's not a taboo topic. Tell them like, I don't think it is a good use of either one of us to buy things for people that we don't need. You know, like I've been in situations with family members, this goes back like over a decade, where they like had an amount that they spent on everyone and were like, you need to tell me what you want. And it became this like list thing where it was like, you wrote a list and they went, and I'm like, what is this? This is not the spirit of the holidays, right? Like, this is just, it's like we're exchanging money. Like, I just don't find that to be an endearing, like, that doesn't warm my heart. That stresses me out and feels like it wastes a lot of time. And then we go through this like funny tradition of like opening I know I have views similar to you of like, I just don't need all that. And then the other thing I'd say is like, with kids, we have 3 kids. Mike's got 2 kids. We still buy our kids presents for Christmas, but we do not buy them nearly what other people do, right? Like I will say every year they each have about 5 to 10 presents to open. And like 8 of those presents are like tiny things, like a pair of slippers, some Scotch tape, some new colored pencils. You know, it's something to open. They get excited about it. A pack of stickers. I don't know, something kind of silly. A lot of times it's stuff they need, like a pair of pajamas. And there'll be 1 or 2, like, not bigs. I don't mean big as like a huge expensive thing, but like something they asked for, like an LOL doll or something they asked for that I usually don't want to get them, but I'm getting them. I'm getting it for them because I know I have to. And you don't, like, when kids have 30 things to open, like I see it every year, even with 10 items, that they immediately, like, they open it, they push it aside, and they're like, what's the next thing? You know? And that to me, like, drives me crazy, because it's like, this is not the spirit of Christmas. This is not why we're doing this. And so I would challenge people to reconsider the amount they're spending on gifts, the amount they're spending even just within their own immediate family on their kids on gifts, and think about alternative ways to give your friends and family feedback, and to just get a little bit more creative and, like, you know, lean into more experiences and creative approaches, and not feeling like you have to spend a lot of money. I think we spend, for 3 kids combined, well under $300 for their Christmas presents every year. Well under. What about you, Mike? If you had to guess.
Maybe
$30?
$30 a kid.
You spend more than that.
My
right?
kids are younger though, and so they're more easily impressed, and they don't understand like what's expensive and what's not.
That's true.
So my number will go up as they get older, I'm sure. Yeah.
But I mean, I still think, I mean, under $100, like, there's clothing and stuff in there and things that they like need.
And Scotch tape.
But just to be clear, not the brand Scotch, because that's really expensive. Like off-brand Scotch tape. We talked about photos earlier, but like, let's hit Santa pictures real quick for those who celebrate Christmas. What do you do about that?
We've actually talked about it, because like when we see other people's photos, they're pretty funny sometimes, but then we're like, we have to make an appointment, and then we need to drive 45 minutes somewhere, and then it costs like $200, and then we need to get these things printed out, and we're just like, forget it.
Yeah.
So it's just, if it was like here in our house and $25, I would totally do it. But the amount of work, time, and money involved, just the equation doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I'm going to sound kind of like bah humbug, but I'm like kind of excited for COVID this year that we probably can get away with like no Santa pics. So we have not gone to, like, I'd say we don't ever do like the traditional, like, going to a fancy mall and spend like where you have to make an appointment. You're spending like hundreds of bucks and all that. We used to go to this like kind of boutique Santa offering that an individual photographer did. And it was like an experience. It had like a winter wonderland thing the kids got to play at all morning. And then they were like really funny photos that were like really cool. And they were not like mall photos. I don't know how to describe it, but they were great. And it was, I don't remember what, but the price went up at some point. It used to be like $100 and it felt like an outing for the day. So it was worth it to us. But we will not go and spend a bunch of money on this, right? Like I have a tradition with my friends where we all have for years have gone and gotten them with this group of all of our kids where there's like 9 kids on Santa's lap. And we used to go to like the cheapest mall we could find, the one that nobody wanted to go to anymore, like the malls that are half shut down but still had a Santa. We would go to those, not like the fancy malls in Atlanta. They were so much cheaper. There were no lines. And then we also sometimes now like our neighborhood club, like swim club or whatever, would have a Santa in, and it was like $15 or $20 to go get your pictures with Santa, and you got the digital file. And we would do that, and it was like 9 of us, and we were just getting one photo with all of our kids in it. And so there's just, my point is there's other creative ways to get a photo with Santa if that's really important to your kids for some reason. You don't need to go and get like the nicest package, right? Like you're usually not going to even do anything with those photos half the time. They sit somewhere and who knows where they go. So that's a good example of like a lot of the things we're talking about here are like in that category of kind of keeping up with the Joneses and like lifestyle inflation and feeling like you have to do what everybody around you is doing. But I think it's a really interesting social experiment to say, well, like, no, actually you don't. Like nothing will change in your life if you quit doing a fancy photo shoot and spending, hundreds of dollars to then ship that out to all of your friends and family.
Hearing you say that also makes me realize, like, I love the holidays. I have an awesome time. I really enjoy it. I've never done photos with the family. I've never done Santa photos. I've never really done gifts or like big gift exchanges or anything like that. And it has not hurt my enjoyment of the holidays. And when I do like find myself in a situation where like I have to buy somebody a gift, it's like very uncomfortable for me. It's not enjoyable. It's the exact opposite of it. So I think, like we often talk about, where we're not talking about depriving yourself of something when you decide to save money. Like we are both very happy with our lifestyles. Most people can be very happy in the holidays without doing a lot of these things.
Yeah, well, this was back to our point of like what's in the very beginning, Mike, of like what's important to you about the holidays, and like spending money on all of these things is not what I value about the holidays or what makes me feel good about it. And this is actually going to be a really interesting year with COVID. And how much we'll all still be kind of in quarantine and in social distancing of, a lot of these things won't be appropriate and likely we'll still have a happy holidays.
Yeah.
It'll be different, but
yeah.
Okay. A couple more things.
Okay.
Holiday decor, like inside and outside, like some special doormat, wreath hanging on your front porch, throw pillows, Christmas light, all that stuff. What you like? What's your house going to look like if I drive by in a month?
We do have like a very cheap little plastic wreath thing, like with those fake kind of, tree materials. That was probably like $10 at Walmart. And we put that on our front door. I put lights. We have a tree on the inside that like in our living room. And then I have a few lights. The tree was actually like, it was like $100. It was, in my mind, fairly expensive, but it has like the lights built into it.
I
it's
had
artificial.
it for like 10 years though.
Yeah, I'm going to have it for a long time. And then we do have some other lights that we put around the living room. I do it just for the hygge ambiance. It's not like there's any sort of like meaningful style or decoration to it. I just like the lighting is a big part of hygge, and I like the living room when it's like that. But I'm probably all in like $150 of decorations.
That you reused year to year too.
Oh yeah, like we don't buy anything, and when we do, it's like the cheapest kind. We're not doing any fancy things.
So I think holiday decor is another good example of you can still love the holidays, love holiday decor. Like I love outdoor lights more than I love indoor decor, honestly. We put out a good bit of holiday lights outside, and every now and then I have to replenish them because, the lights will go out. Every year I have my like cursing of like going through all the lights and being like, why is like half this string's out and all that junk. But we don't spend a lot of money on that stuff, right? Like I'm the same as you. We have an artificial tree and I've had it for a really long time. And actually we had one that we had for like 12 years and we just replaced it a few years ago. I have a holiday doormat, but I have had it for 10 years. I bring it out during, for 1 month and then I go put it back. And so there's like we have a few things that we do, but we don't have a million things we do, right? I don't have like, the whole house swapped out with like holiday materials, which I know some
Like
people.
new curtains.
Yeah. I mean, some people really, really go all out. What's funny is my kids lately have been like peer pressuring me. Like they really like holiday decor. Like even during Halloween, they're like, we need more Halloween decor. They're just like really into decorating for the holidays. And I have to be like, okay, like we're going to do some, but it's not going to be like over the top. So I think holiday decor, similar point on many things. You can still enjoy the holidays. You can love holiday decor, but it doesn't mean every year you need to go to TJ Maxx or wherever you're buying stuff and buy all this new like crap to, outfit your house in to make it more, holiday-esque, or to make you feel like you're having a better holidays, or that it looks picture perfect, or whatever it is. Like do a few nice touches and leave it at that, and keep that stuff and reuse it from year to year.
And like all purchases, you can go to Walmart and buy ornaments for like $2 for a pack of 10, or you can go to like Crate and Barrel, that sounds like an expensive store, and spend $50 on the same ornaments. Like they all look the same, they serve the same purpose. You don't need to spend a ton of money on this to get a similar effect.
I forgot about this till you just said that. I've never like gone to a store and purchased holiday ornaments before. Every single one of my ornaments is from my mom and like our family childhood ones, or stuff my kids made, or we buy a Christmas ornament in almost every place we visit and I've been doing that for like 20 years. And so all of my Christmas ornaments are from a place that I have traveled to. And that's like the one thing I'll buy when I'm on a trip is I will look for a Christmas ornament, even if it's not meant to be a Christmas ornament, but it's like something that I could hang on a tree. I'll be like, okay, that's my Christmas ornament. And I love it because when we decorate the tree every year, and this is actually, I was about to get into like activities and traditions. That is an example of something that makes us really happy, because when we decorate the tree with our kids, we'll put up all those ornaments, and some of the trips the kids were on, and a lot of them they weren't, and we'll be like, oh, you remember we went to Peru and Machu Picchu and we bought this there from a local craftsman on the street, and you remember when we went here and we bought this when we were in Greece on vacation, and so we get to like have this amazing family memory of reminiscing about where we've been with ourselves and then with the kids too. And so that is a great activity and tradition that does not cost us any money. So I'll
Maggie,
segue that. Yes.
Friends on Fire ornaments. Can we make this happen?
We could do Friends on Fire Christmas ornaments to remind you. It's funny, the company I order our stickers from just did keychains, which keychains is sometimes what I'll buy if I can't find a Christmas ornament, and I'll just hang it up there on the tree. Yeah.
I think we should look into this.
I might be able to make them. I'm gonna do a collaboration with your wife, who has many interesting crafts machines, and see about what we could maybe make.
She'll love it.
Okay, good idea. Or at least they're at least going to be one for our trees. I'm not sure how many other people want a Friends on Fire tree. Maybe I could use the hologram stickers to turn them into ornament. I'm going to do them on like a piece of wood.
Yes.
And get my friend who has the cutting machine that cuts wood. I can't think of the name of it. But anyways, the Glowforge. Thank you. Ooh, that's what I'm going to do.
If you are listening to this episode and you call in with a question or comment, we will send you
a Friends on Fire Christmas ornament.
Yes.
Woo, woo.
Okay.
Activities and experiences, like, people here like to go watch what is the thing at Botanical Gardens? The something of lights. I don't know. There's like 50 things around Atlanta where you go look at lights places, and it costs like, I'm not exaggerating, sometimes 150 to 200 plus to get a family of 5 into these activities.
Outrageous.
Not kidding. What are your thoughts? I always feel like I ask you your thoughts, but as I even state it, it's with such judgment in my voice.
Right. I feel like you're just setting me up to be the bad guy here.
No, I have the same views as you do on all this stuff.
I think there is always some value in activities. If it's something like truly spectacular, like, once in a lifetime thing, $150 for an hour might actually be worth it. But in general, $100 to go do a day-long activity is a good use of money.
Yeah, better.
So was your question is like, why do I just hate all activities, or what do I do?
No, it's just like, what do you guys do? Yeah, what sort of traditions and activities
we typically are in Europe for Christmas. And Germany in particular has like a rich history of Christmas markets, which are amazing, super fun. So we will go to those. And, it'll be like snowing, and my wife, her family lives in this, like many cities in Germany, like a very old medieval castle town. And so you like walk around.
That sounds really cool.
Like cobblestone streets with Christmas lights and decorations. And it's pretty magical.
It sounds really magical. I'm a little depressed for you because that's not going to happen for you this year, man.
I mean, we have flights booked. So until they're canceled, we're going.
Well, I don't mean to. I mean, can I put some money on that? But they're probably going to be canceled.
Yeah.
So I'll help you form some new traditions in Atlanta this year. Because that sounds magical.
COVID traditions. Let's hear it.
Yeah. Well, so we could sit around the fire pit with the kids and create a new Friends on Fire
that's a good idea.
gathering.
I like that.
I mean, I was like being serious when I just said that, but it's a good segue into there are many things you can do in the kind of like activities, traditions, etc. category experiences during the holidays while you're spending time with friends and family. And again, we talked like you can get some of your family members who want to buy things for your kids to gift your kids experiences that they do with or without, or that you do with or without them. If they're able to go, or maybe they live out of town, and then you can send them pictures and tell them how it went. Sometimes like we'll get one of our kids' grandparents they'll gift like annual membership to the Botanical Garden. So it keeps giving throughout the year, which is great. You can also like make up your own fun traditions. So I'm with Mike on like, we certainly will like, usually we'll do like one thing that might cost like more money over the holidays, but we won't, it's not like we're doing them every weekend. We'll do like one to kind of splurge with the kids. But there's so many things that we do with our kids also where we've like made up traditions. And I have a friend who kind of got me onto this idea where it's like, you know, she'll load her kids in the car. They all get a hot chocolate. I won't let my kids drink hot chocolate in my car. So we have a alternate version of this. Maybe I will this year, but they'll like load up the kids, have a hot cocoa. It's like something fun for them to do. And they'll drive around and look at Christmas lights. Right. And they used to like publish maps in Atlanta of like where some of the best Christmas lights set up were, or you can just go around your neighborhood, depending on the age of your kids. They may be impressed with, you know, some more simple light setups. Like that's a great tradition. It costs no money. There's a lot of other nice traditions like that where you could, you know, come up with different, like we were saying around, you know, Friends on Fire, around the campfire, you know, organize something with your friends where you guys all get together and everybody brings a dish, or, you know, you do whatever. But there's different ways you can come up with your own fun and inexpensive traditions and activities that you do throughout the holidays that meet the need of what you want to do during the holidays, which is take advantage of that time when the world slows down, when your work slows down, when you have more time to reconnect with friends and family, and, you know, be thoughtful and intentional about it, and, you know, make some plans to do some things in advance and to, you know, come up with some ideas. And there's so much you can do in that category of, you know, activities and traditions that do not need to cost a lot of money or really any money at all. Okay. My last point, which is not a category per se, is just around giving back. I think it is one of the most important things we can all do during the holidays. And in terms of, you know, when you think about spending less in all of the categories that we just talked through, one of your many motivations is to be able to give back to others that might need it more. So it's going to feel good for you. It is incredibly helpful to somebody who has less than you do. And so think about, you know, organizations, and think about organizations that mean something to you that you want to give back to. Think about organizations that just may be in a time of need right now. So there's a lot of, cannot think of the word, like kitchens, the kitchens that collect food. Food banks. Thank you. There's a lot of food banks that are really in need of things, especially right now. And so it could be that you're giving back by, you know, doing a can drive or just, you know, buying a bunch of food or donating to a food bank. Try to get your kids involved. We're trying to do more and more of this as our kids get older. Get them involved in understanding what the holidays are about and being able to give back to others, and realizing that it's not all about what they open under the tree that day. And so I don't know if there will be this year, but there used to be a lot of things where, you know, you at work or at our school, we would be able to grab gifts off a tree and buy gifts for other families who otherwise would not be receiving anything. And so we always would try to like get our kids involved and things like that. But I think just a general reminder of like, this is a great season to give back to others, and, you know, be recognizing and appreciative of all that you may have, and find ways that you can give back.
And I'm going to play the Maggie role here, and to emphasize the point about how privileged of a life you and I live, we are talking about how we don't want gifts and we shouldn't give gifts because we have everything we want and need. And most people are not like that. And so if you find yourself in the situation where you are declining gifts because you have too many things, that's probably a good indication that you should give back a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Well done playing the Maggie role, Mike.
Yeah, my pleasure. I learned from the best.
Yeah, nice. A final point that we'll maybe leave you on that could help with all of these things is something that we talk about a lot, which is tracking your spending and having a budget. So whichever angle you're taking on it, perhaps both, perhaps only one, if you do more of tracking your spending or, again, working toward a budget, you're more cognizant and aware of how much you are spending. And you realize like, wow, I'm spending, like thousands. I'm sure some people are spending like literally over $1,000.
Oh, yeah,
on
definitely.
Gifts. And just, other things that are related to the holidays. And so I think the practice of, consciously like write down everything you're spending money on or you plan to spend money on, like create a budget, make sure you're tracking and have a sense of kind of what you are spending money on can be really important. And I think on that note, we're going to do an episode on Black Friday, right? And like your tips and unique approach to Black Friday, which we didn't say it, but when we talk about gifts, one of the gifts tips is, know when to shop and look for sales for the things you do need to get throughout the holidays. And Black Friday can be one of those things. And so Mike has some interesting approaches that we'll share in a future episode where we focus just on Black Friday. But the point is track your spending because it can significantly help to curb and make you just more aware of how much you might be spending.
And as a reminder, we have the Friends on Fire spend tracker on our Etsy store. So you go download that and use that.
Oh, that makes a great holiday gift, actually.
Oh, yeah. It's super inexpensive, very useful, shows you care.
Perhaps that's where we need to put the Friends on Fire Christmas ornament, actually, is on Etsy.
That's a great idea.
Maybe you get a free Christmas ornament with every spend tracker you buy throughout the holidays.
Nice.
We'll think of something. If you have any ideas for Christmas promotions, let us know. Okay, should we do our top 3 takeaways?
Sure. You didn't give me the notes. I don't know them.
Okay. Well, number 1 is to remember what the holidays is all about and spend some time being honest with yourself on what is important to you during the holidays to level set yourself. Number 2 is track your spending / make a budget so that you are more aware of what you are spending money on. And number 3 is a bit of a catch-all of everything we talked about here today is realize that you don't need to spend a lot during the holidays to be happy, and don't get caught up in the keeping up with the Joneses and lifestyle inflation and all the things that kind of suck you into feeling like you have to do all of these really expensive things throughout the holidays. You do not have to. And go back to number 1 of our top takeaways, which is remember what the holidays are actually about. The holidays are not about hiring a professional photographer. The holidays are not about having a, fancy card and your family looking, really great to all of your friends and family. They're not about having like matching throw pillows that are in season. Anyways, I'm not knocking these practices. If that's like the most important thing to you, like go for it. But you got to give somewhere, right? And so think about your priorities. And I don't even remember what number 3 was, but we should probably wrap this up now.
Yeah, I think this is a good point to wrap up on.
Okay, getting in the holiday spirit. Thank you for listening, y'all. If you've been challenged or inspired by what you have heard here, please rate and review the show. You can also subscribe to make sure that you never miss an episode. If you have any thoughts or questions, we would always love to hear from you, and you can leave us a voicemail or text us at 404-981-3370. And you can also hit us up on Instagram or Facebook. And my biggest takeaway from tonight, Mike, is we got to figure out some Friends on Fire Christmas ornaments.
Definitely. I don't even remember what the hell we talked about. I've been thinking about that the whole time.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Maggie.
Thanks, Mike. Bye.
Bye.